just a little less than a year ago, just a horrific crime took her child, Casey Chadwick, from her, and I can personally attest to the fact that southeastern Connecticut and the whole state, has, been just part of the grief and pain that that followed, and the admiration that folks have for Ms. Hartling, as Mr. Lynch said, trying to get some good to come out of this horrific event. It just has drawn admiration from all quarters. So thank you for being here, Ms. Hartling. And I think I'm the last one here, so all your patience is going to be paid off shortly, and give you an opportunity to talk. Director Saldana, the one thing about the Casey Chadwick case is that, really there's just no ambiguity in this instance in terms of, whether or not someone's charges were pending, or whether or not the individual was convicted of a aggravated versus a, serious offense. Jean-Jacques, came into the country without documentation. He was convicted by the state of Connecticut of a homicide. He served over 15 years in prison. At the completion of his sentence, the Department of Corrections surrendered him into the custody of ICE. Again, the government had run the traps in terms of getting a deportation order completed at that point. Any appeals that he tried to pose had been exhausted. So there was just, again, no sort of glitches that anyone could point to that would interfere with that process going to the next step, which is obviously removal from the country. As we heard from Ms. Maloney, the government of Haiti, again, played this very frustrating exercise in terms of verbally granting and then refusing on a number of occasions. So a year ago, you were before the committee, and this question of uncooperative other nations was raised with you, and at the time, your testimony stated that bolstering ICE's ability to obtain travel documents from recalcitrant countries is an important priority, and I will continue to work closely with the Department of State to achieve better cooperation from countries in accepting the return of their nationals. Again, this morning you've talked about your efforts with the PEP program in the last year or so. Can you just tell us with some specificity what's going on between ICE and state in the intervening time since you testified to fix this glaring problem?
I think I said earlier I've met with the Assistant Secretary for Consular Affairs, Ms. Bond, and actually I'm going to see her this afternoon about Guinea in particular. So we meet periodically, and we made a commitment to continue to do that because I want to keep her posted on the countries we're having trouble with. So this memorandum of understanding we have, we meet to discuss what can be done with a particular country. And right now, countries like Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan, we're just having tremendous difficulties with. So she has listened. She has promised to follow up. She sent a cable out to all our ambassadors across the world last March to say, please be mindful of this. Help ICE and other agencies that are seeking to get cooperation from the jurisdiction and assist them in their efforts to remove people back.
So, but what levers? We have levers.
Yes.
Members have mentioned it. The visas that we grant to citizens from these nations coming into the U.S., foreign aid.
Sanctions. There are sanctions.
Give me an example of where they've actually, done more than just meet to discuss this.
Where Department of State has? I'm not familiar with the specifics of what they've done.
Okay, and I guess, Mr. Chairman, that's sort of the crux of the frustration that myself and Senator Blumenthal and Murphy have experienced, which is that, this, just screams out for the fact that, the agencies in the U.S. ICE and the State Department are not getting this done. And that's why we requested an Inspector General's report. That process is underway right now. We're going to